Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I am going to be taking you along with me on what I eat in a typical day to maintain my weight. Let me share with you that I am not in weight loss mode, but rather maintenance mode. What I mean by that is I have a 5-pound weight window that I try to stay in, and I pretty much do year-round. I may have a couple slip-ups from a vacation or holiday eating, but when that happens and I go above my 5-pound window, I get immediately back on the plan and I knock those pounds off and get right back into my weight window. Another thing worth mentioning is that I do a lot of intermittent fasting. I don't intermittent fast every single day, but I do intermittent fast more days throughout the month than I do not. My intermittent fasts are 18 hours. I am also a creature of habit. What I mean by that is I live pretty much by a schedule. Every single day is pretty much the same routine, the same schedule. I get up at the same time, I go to bed at the same time, and throughout the day when I eat, it's usually about the same time. I get up at 4 a.m. and I go to bed at 8 p.m. Now, that may seem unrealistic to some of you, but really my wake-up time and my bedtime are dictated by my work schedule. And on a typical day, I start work about 6:30 in the morning. Therefore, I have to get up at 4 a.m. in order to get my workout in. I may sleep in one day a week, but typically that's about it. And if I do, I'm usually up by 5:30, maybe 6 at the latest. With going to bed at 8 p.m., I try to end my eating window about 4:30 in the afternoon. I also really like to go to bed more on an empty stomach. I am totally acclimated to this, so I never get hungry between the 4:30 and the 8 p.m. time frame. I typically break my fast the following day at 10:30 a.m. and therefore I have an 18-hour intermittent fast. As I take you along on what I eat throughout a day, I am going to share with you two alternatives. I generally eat about 3 times a day, and breakfast is usually one of 2 things. Lunch is generally one of 2 things, and my third meal, dinner, is generally 1 to 2 things. So I thought it would be a good idea to take you along with me on both scenarios. Good morning. I just got up. I am getting ready to start my workout. It's a few minutes after 4. That is what I had my alarm set for, was 4 in the morning. I'm getting ready to go in the basement and do my workout. I will have the workout program that I have been doing linked in the drop-down box below. I'm getting ready to take my first vitamin, my first set of vitamins. So this is the vitamins for the whole entire day. I'm getting ready to take the one that's in S, which is just, it doesn't stand for the days of the week for me. S just means number 1. I'm not going to go through all of my vitamins. I have a video sharing with you everything I take on the daily. That will also be linked below. You can tell I have my morning voice, but I want to show you my phone so that you can see what time it really is. So yes, very early. I don't drink anything but water during my workout, and I generally drink another 16 ounces. Just finished my workout. It is 5:38 in the morning. And this is what I have prior to pounding the coffee. This is my lemon ginger detox. You can get to the recipe of this through a blog post, and that will be linked below. I did not include the honey, so in the recipe you will see that you can include honey. I did not include that because I am intermittent fasting, but everything else is in here. I have this every single morning, and I have it right after my workout or upon awakening after I drink like about 16 ounces of water. but it always gets drank before my coffee, and I have been drinking this for years, probably 8 years, every single morning. Many of you that follow me drink this every morning because you had found out about it from me. So it's really good. It's got a little zip to it, but it's a great detox and way to start your day. After I am done having my lemon ginger detox, I move on to coffee, and I drink 3 mugs. So you can see the size of this mug right here. It's about 12 ounces, and I use stevia. I don't put anything else in my coffee. I drink it black, but I do put 1 packet of stevia in each mug. So 3 cups, each with 1 packet of stevia. I am getting ready to eat my first meal of the day. This is one of 2 things that I have. Again, I had mentioned I am a creature of habit. So some days I have this breakfast here, and on other days I have the other breakfast that I will be showing you, but it's always one of the 2. There's no rhyme or reason. I don't alternate. I just gauge it on what I'm craving, which one sounds better, or what I have on hand so that I can make the breakfast. What we have here is my toasted English muffin, and I topped it with half of an avocado. And then I took a couple slices of tomato. Here's the English muffins that I used. It's the Ezekiel 4.9 sprouted grain. What I do is I take one out in the early morning and I put it in a Ziploc bag so that it will thaw, because I do store these in the freezer. And yep, that's the English muffin. It's toasted. And then over here I have 4 whole pasture-raised eggs. They are scrambled. Again, I always use pasture-raised. What I do, so I can't really show you the finished product, is because it's messy. So what I do is I will take 1 spoonful, kind of like this, and I will put it on my English muffin, and then I will take a bite. And then I will add, otherwise it all just falls apart. The egg will just fall off. So I just put a little scoop on at a time. Oh, the other thing too that I need to mention is on top of the half of an avocado that I spread between the 2. So again, it was half of an avocado and I just divided it between the 2. It wasn't a half on each one. But I sprinkled Himalayan pink sea salt on top of the avocado. So again, English muffin, half of an avocado, we have a little tomato, which you could go without that, and then I have the 4 eggs, and I would just put it on each bite, and it's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. As you can see, 1 bite gone, a big bite, and my next bite is ready to go. I am also breaking a 19-hour intermittent fast. I normally intermittent fast for around 18 hours, but I had a coaching session, so I had to break it at the 19-hour mark today. Today I am having the other thing that I have for breakfast. So if I don't have the toasted Ezekiel English muffin with avocado and egg and sometimes tomato, then I have my breakfast quinoa. There will be a printable that you can get to in the drop-down box below if you want the recipe for this. But basically it's quinoa, some cookies and cream protein powder. I top it off with pecans, raw almond butter, and then I also do a little sprinkle of the almond milk in there. It's so delicious. I cannot tell you how much I love my food. Everything that I make is delicious. I don't feel like I'm compromising taste or flavor or texture at all. It's so good. If I need to have a snack between meals, I try to stick with something such as cucumbers. I absolutely love cucumbers. I find them to be very refreshing. Also, sometimes I miss having crunch. When you are a clean eater, you're generally not eating a lot of crunchy stuff. So having something like a cucumber will give you that crunch sensation. The only thing that I have on the cucumbers here is Himalayan pink sea salt, and I will have the Himalayan pink sea salt that I purchase linked in the drop down box below this video. For meal number 2, or I guess you could call it lunch, which is generally about 3 hours after I have meal number 1, I will have one of 2 things. This is avocado egg salad. Now, if I had my toasted Ezekiel English muffin with the avocado and the eggs on it, I wouldn't have this on that day because I've already had eggs and I've already had avocado. So I kind of switch things up that way. Now, on a day that I would have my breakfast quinoa, for example, this would be an example of what I would have for meal number 2. What I have here is 4 whole pasture-raised eggs, and then I used a whole entire avocado. I really gauge how much avocado I use by how big the avocado is. The one that I had was really small, so I used the whole entire thing. There's nothing else in this except for pepper and Himalayan pink sea salt. Now, this is a lot of food. This doesn't mean that everyone could have 4 whole eggs and a whole avocado. That's a lot of food. It's also a lot of calories. I have a very active and aggressive workout routine, so I may be able to take in more calories than maybe someone else. I definitely do have to watch my calories. I do put weight on very easily, but it's one of those things where I can't really tell someone how much they can have as far as quantity because you would have to play with it. For example, my mom, if she were to eat this much, especially this much avocado, she tends to see that she starts to put weight on. So she was able to gauge that about herself. You really just have to play with it, and you have to modify things to what works for you. So you could start out with 4, but maybe you knock it down to 3, or maybe you do, 3 eggs and a half of an avocado. Really just figure out what works for you. I will also link in the drop-down box below the food chopper that I use to chop my eggs with. So I showed you the avocado egg salad that I make for lunch. Now, on days that I don't have the avocado egg salad, I will have what I call a plant and protein concoction salad. And really what that is I take whatever veggies I have in the refrigerator and I make a concoction out of it. And I generally add for the protein chicken or tuna. Today I am using 3 ounces of chicken breast. You really can't see it in there because it's mixed up. This is not a recipe, it's a concoction. Anyone can do this. You just go in the refrigerator, grab whatever veggies you have that you like, and you chop them up. What I have here is I have finely chopped broccoli. I'm really not a fan of raw broccoli unless it's finely chopped, but I love roasted or steamed broccoli. I just prefer my broccoli cooked. But broccoli is really good for you, and if I chop it up finely and mix it with something, now it's a game changer. So what I did is I took the broccoli and I used my green food chopper, the one that I have showed in the past. You can see it here. I will make sure it is linked in the drop down. I poured the broccoli into a bowl and I added 3 ounces of chicken breast, and then I mixed it up with a little bit of avocado that was kind of softened because I want to get a creamy texture. And I added a little bit of veganase, and I will put that in the drop-down box below. It's kind of like a healthier version of a mayo, but I only wanted to use it to get some type of creamy consistency to the texture, which you can also use hummus. And I'll be honest with you, if I have hummus on hand, that is generally what I will use, but I didn't have any hummus. So again, this is just a concoction. And then what I did is I just topped it with some yellow and red peppers because I had them. Topped it with some crumbled goat cheese. I absolutely love goat cheese. I'm a cheese lover altogether, and I'm not talking about like your cheese you would get into like a, not imitation type cheese. I'm talking, give me a cheese board at a restaurant and I am so happy. Give me some fig jam, some baguettes to put it on, some, nuts, all the variety. I love cheese. Then I took a little bit of olive oil and just drizzled it over top, and then I just topped it with some pepper. So again, it's really just a concoction. Oh, and I think there's some tomato on there. Yeah, there is. This is generally what I would make on a day that, let's say my first meal was my Ezekiel English muffin and I had the egg and the avocado. Then I don't want to have egg again, so I would make something like this as my second meal. And although I did use a little bit of avocado, it was really just to get the creamy texture down. Something like this is not what's making us put on weight, folks. This is all good veggies. This is very plant-based, but we added in some good source of protein in there. You could also top it with nuts. Just get creative. For dinner, I am having salmon and I am having roasted vegetables. Both of these are my recipes, and I will have the blog post where you can get to the recipes for Tracy's baked salmon and Tracy's roasted vegetables in the drop-down box below. This is one of the two meals that I pretty much have for dinner every single night. Again, it's usually one or the other, as you can tell, for all of the meals throughout the day. This is absolutely delicious. Sometimes I put capers on top of the salmon, and you will see that in the recipe. I didn't have any, so I was not able to put any on. And for the vegetables, it just depends on what I have. In this little concoction, I have broccoli, asparagus, and red peppers, but you can mix it up. I love to do zucchini and summer squash this time of the year. Anything that you can resource from your garden would be excellent, but you can really use any vegetables that you prefer. And I would say this salmon fillet is probably more like a 5 ounce. I think it would be bigger than 4 to 5 ounce. I don't weigh it to determine that. I just kind of eyeball what size is going to be suitable for me. Again, we are talking creature of habit. So meal number 3 was either the salmon that I had showed you with roasted veggies, or it's this roasted vegetable pizza on a cauliflower pizza crust. The pizza crust is by Outer Isle. It is the Plant Power pizza crust, 3-gram net carbs, fresh cauliflower, whole cage-free eggs, fresh Parmesan cheese. I love it, zero guilt. Here are the nutrition facts, and no worries, I will have these linked below. They come in a 2-pack. Generally, when I purchase them, they come in, I think there's 3 of them in the kit, and then I just leave them in the freezer until I need a pizza crust. I just pull it out a couple hours prior and put it in the refrigerator. And then on top I have this pizza sauce right here. I will link this. And then we also have some crumbled goat cheese. Cauliflower pizza crust topped with the pizza sauce. And then this is just roasted veggies left over from last night's dinner, which I showed you, which was salmon and roasted veggies. So we have asparagus, broccoli, there's some green onion in there, red pepper, and then of course I top it with goat cheese. It is so good. Now again, if you are used to standard American diet food, this may not taste that great. A cauliflower pizza crust just may not taste super wonderful to someone who is so acclimated to standard American diet, but give it time. I love it. I think it's so delicious. Here's your nutrition facts on the pizza sauce. And again, it's generally one of the two things. A lot of times I will have the salmon with roasted veggies, and then I save some roasted veggies so I can make the pizza the next day, just to give me a little variety. You may be curious as to other things that I drink on a daily basis. I would say that I have at least one detox tea a day. And I get these from 310 Nutrition. This one's in jasmine mint. I have some originals, another jasmine mint. So I'm really well stocked, but I have at least one a day. I don't have 2 of these a day, but I may have another cup of tea on occasion. It just really depends. Really, all I drink throughout the day on a normal basis, like on a good clean eating day, is again my lemon ginger detox, my 3 cups of coffee, and then at least one of these. And generally this is like later in the morning. Often I'll have it before I even eat because I like the fact that it's a detox. Another one that I have here is this mushroom matcha drink mix. This resheet mushroom is really good as well. And this is a great one more towards the end of the day. So there's not a lot of rhyme or reason. I don't have like some type of tea drinking schedule. I just like to have at least, at least my detox tea. And I buy other herbal teas throughout the year. I mean, you can see back here, there's some teas that, even the kids will get into, but yeah, I mean, tea is a great drink to incorporate. It will also tie you over if you're intermittent fasting. Now, obviously, if I am going to go out to dinner with friends or relatives or go to a family gathering or something, then I'll probably have wine or some type of drink. If I'm going out to dinner, I may have a pre-dinner cocktail and then some wine. But really, on a normal day, it's water, coffee, tea, and the lemon ginger detox. All right, I just got done drinking my detox tea and I thought of something else. If you are interested in knowing everything that I drink for health, wellness, and beauty, I will have that video linked below as well, along with the supplements and everything else that I've been mentioning. You are going to hear my dishwasher in the background, but I did want to share with you that if I get a real sweet tooth craving, one of the things that I do really enjoy is the Lenny and Larry's The Complete Cookie, and my favorite is Snickerdoodle. I have tried other ones, but this is my favorite, and let me share that this is absolutely delicious if you put it in the microwave for 8 seconds. You definitely want to take it out of the wrapper. Just take it out, put it on a paper towel or a plate, put it in your microwave for 8 seconds, and I'm telling you, it is like it came out of the oven. But I will also share with you that when I eat one, I generally cut it in half, and I will eat one day or one and then the other half the next day, or someone is always eager to have the other half, because you have to really pay attention to your nutrition facts. A lot of times these snacks are 2 servings, and this is. So if you look at that, it's 210 calories, but that's only for half. If you eat the whole cookie, this basically is like a pretty much a meal replacement. So pay attention to your nutrition labels. I think that gets people in a lot of trouble. The other thing that I love to have as a treat is my fat bombs. And I can't claim that they're mine. I got the recipe from someone else, but I will have a printable recipe linked for the fat bombs. I don't have any made right now, but I will insert a photo so you can see what they look like because I've shared them before. Another really great treat is this Power Crunch bar right here. I've had a couple different flavors of these. This one is the chocolate mint. If you like thin mint cookies from like Girl Scouts, that's basically what this is going to be like. So this is a nice treat. I've also had the peanut butter one, and that reminds me of like a Little Debbie's snack cake, Nutty Bar, I think it's called, or Nutter Butter, I'm not really sure, but yeah, that's another great like on-the-go type of snack. I took these recently with me on a trip. But yeah, this would just be a treat. I don't have them often, but again, it's better than the alternative, so it's nice to have them on hand. I will share with you that once in a while, I just do need a good carbonated drink. Now, clearly, these are not going to be good for you. If I am going to drink pop, or some of you would call it soda, I am going to have diet. Regardless of what anyone else thinks, it's always going to be diet. I don't like to drink my calories unless, of course, I am having something like a cocktail or a glass of wine or like a protein shake or something like that. But yeah, once in a while, I really need something. Let's just say that we got takeout pizza and I just really want something really tasty and carbonated. I'm going to go for one of these once in a while. It's not every day and it's not often, but I do have them on hand. And you know, it's better than the alternative is how I look at it. And while I'm just kind of sharing it all, let me share with you a weakness of mine. Now, a couple things about me. I am not a chip person. And I'm not like into crackers, meaning I never snacked on my kids' goldfish or their Cheez-Its. I'm not gonna eat, Quaker granola bars or Rice Krispie treats. Anything that we ever had in our pantry when the kids were little, I didn't really get into that stuff. My weakness would be baked goods, but I'm not, like if we had Oreos in the home, no, I'm not interested. I'm also not interested in ice cream. It's if I baked brownies or I baked my chocolate chip cookies, which you can get to on my website, I'll put those down down below too. But if I baked something, that's what I like, is baked goods, cakey type baked goods. But why are we looking at these vegetable chips? I'll tell you. This, and although I'm not a chip person, I love these exotic blend vegetable chips with sea salt. Here's the different things that are in them. But not just any of those. There's a couple, I should say, brands of these, but I really only like the Simply Nature from Aldi. These are my favorite. And my husband will pick these up all the time when he goes to Aldi. He'll get 2 bags, and I have ate a whole bag before. He's ate a bag and I've ate a bag. So it is torture to have these in the house. But yeah, they are so good. But I mean, they're still a potato chip to me. I mean, this is not, don't be fooled by any of this stuff. And I'm not. It's just, they are definitely a weakness. I do incorporate other types of supplement products in my diet, but not a lot. I really try to stick with whole food that comes from its natural source. But there are times when I will add things in, especially if I'm making a protein shake. But really, what I shared in this video is really kind of a typical day. And that's why I didn't want to, throw together a protein shake. I can't even remember the last time I've made a protein shake. But if I do, I will put, stuff in it and kind of jazz it up a little with some nutritional, supplements. Another thing that I do at least 4 days a week from spring to fall is I walk. And I walk between 4 and 5 miles. And I try to do that 4 to 5 days a week. I generally do it in the evening, but once in a while I have to do it in the morning. So right now it's about 6:45 and I'm getting my walk in, which sometimes is nice because then I don't have to do it later. But that is another thing that I do. I don't mark this really as exercise. It's just kind of an added bonus, again, just during the spring to fall seasons. Well, there you have it. What I eat in a typical day to maintain my weight over 45. I am 47 years old. This really is what works for me. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you, but it works for me. And the important thing is that you find what works for you. The other thing that you have to recognize is that for some people, it may look like I'm not taking in a lot of calories throughout the day, but at my age and being in perimenopause, I store body weight and fat very easy. Therefore, I really cannot take in a ton of calories throughout the day, although I'm active. Now, even 10 years ago, that was drastically different. You will be changing things throughout your life as you get older. You just have to accept it and embrace it. That's the best thing that I can say for advice when it comes to eating. You will not see really any fruit in my diet. There's a reason for that. I really just don't enjoy fruit like I do vegetables. I'm not against fruit. I just prefer vegetables to get my fibrous carbohydrates in. I do not count calories or macros. The reason for that is I really don't need to. Number one, I work in the health industry. I have many years under my belt working with weight loss, diet, health, wellness. So I really don't need to. I kind of just know in my head what I am eating when it comes to macros and calories. But the other thing is I'm in maintenance mode. I'm not in weight loss mode. If you are in weight loss mode and you need to track these things, I strongly encourage you do, if it works for you. Again, everything boils down to what works for an individual person. In my planner, you will see that I have a habit tracker. I do record not only my workouts, but I also track my intermittent fasting days and my clean eating days. This is really just to hold myself accountable. It really works for me. I've been doing this for years, and if you need something like this, I would encourage that you look into it. Lastly, I don't prescribe to any specific diet. I'm not vegan, I'm not vegetarian, I'm not paleo, I'm not keto. I really don't prescribe to anything. I feel that works best for me. I'm not someone that likes restriction. Although I'm a creature of habit and I do enjoy eating a lot of the same things, I do want freedom and flexibility to have whatever I want, and therefore I don't follow any prescribed diet plan. Now, I would say if I had to pick what I eat the closest to, I would probably say a Mediterranean diet, but again, I prescribe to nothing. This is another area that you really have to see what works for you. You also will not see chicken or beef in my diet. Again, it is not because I am opposed to them. Even as a child, I really did not like beef or chicken. I always ate fish even as a child. Now, it doesn't mean that I never have beef or chicken. I never order it in a restaurant. The only form that I would order in a restaurant is if I was getting, let's say, nachos, because I love barbecue pulled pork nachos. So right there would be more of a product that I don't generally eat because that'd be a pork product. But even if I order tacos, I always order fish tacos, and I love Mexican food in general. If I order pizza, my favorite is Hawaiian with bacon, and Hawaiian pizza is ham, pineapple, and then I do the bacon. So clearly I am taking in, again, pork right there, but that is really the only time I'm really taking in other than fish products. Once in a while I'll have ground beef. I love a good blackened and blue burger if it's cooked medium rare, but I have to be really leery if I order that in a restaurant because a lot of restaurants can't nail the medium rare. But if we are going to have burgers on the grill in the summertime, I will definitely have a good juicy burger with a little pink inside. If I go someplace that has a flatbread when I'm dining out, I generally always get some type of vegetarian flatbread, but my husband will get like a barbecue chicken, and I will definitely have a couple bites of that. So that kind of gives you an idea of even what I eat when I'm dining out. Typically, if I go out to dinner at a restaurant, I'm generally going to order fish, and that's a lot of times salmon or sea bass would be another one. Maybe mahi-mahi, ahi tuna I absolutely love. It's generally going to be one of those, and I'm going to accommodate it with vegetables. But if I'm going out for Mexican or pizza, I already shared with you what I would generally order in that scenario. Well, that covers everything. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I eat in a typical day, and I hope all these little tips and nuggets that I added in could be resourceful. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you soon in the next video. Take care.